what I would like to present today is indeed a reflection on totality, because I was asked to say something about totality, and being, how they say, authoritarian personality, I just followed the order. But what came out of it is non-political text. So it's not political text, it's text about totality, but not a text about totalitarianism. Even if certain kind of political implications, certain kind of political movement or political thought can be also very easily established here. So it's seemingly non-political, but has certain kind of political edge if one try to analyze it this way, probably. Okay, so I begin. I look at, so not to be too, yeah, water would be also good. Okay, now I have everything I need. So, traditionally, the main occupation of human culture was a search for totality. This search was dictated by the desire of the human subjects to overcome their own particularity, to get rid of their specific points of view that were defined by their life forms, and to find access to a general, universal worldview that would be valid everywhere and at every time. The desire to transcend one's own particularity does not necessarily have its origin in the ontological constitution of the subject itself. We know that the particular is always subsumed, subjected to the whole. So the desire for totality is the same as the desire for freedom. This desire, again, does not need to be interpreted as being somehow inherent to the human nature. We know the historical examples of self-liberation in the name of totality or universality. So we are able to imitate these examples as we may imitate any other form of life. Thus, we hear and read the myth that describes the emergence of the world, its functioning, and its unavoidable end. In this myth, we meet gods and half-gods, prophets and heroes. But we also read the philosophical scientific treatises that describe the world according to the principles of reason. In this text, we meet the transcendental subject, unconscious, absolute spirit, and many other similar things. Now, all these narratives and discourses presuppose an ability of the human mind to arise above the level of its material existence and find an access to God or universal reason to overcome its own finiteness, its mortality. The access to the totality is here the same as access to totality is the same as access to immortality, understood as spiritual immortality, immortality of the soul. However, during the period of modernity, we got accustomed to the view according to which the human beings are incurably mortal, finite, and therefore irreparably determined by specific material conditions of their existence. The humans cannot escape these conditions even by the flight of imagination, because every such flight always takes the reality of these conditions as its starting point. In other words, the materialist understanding of the world seems to deny to the human beings access to the totality of the world that was secured to them by religious and philosophical tradition. According to this view, we are merely able to improve the material conditions of our own existence, but we cannot overcome them. We can find a place in the world, but we cannot find a place in the center of the world or outside of the world. Yeah? And that was a traditional dream. Not to improve our condition and not to be accepted and recognized inside the social sphere, also or political sphere, but to transcend the politics and maybe to begin to dominate it, yeah? That was a traditional activity.